probably all know me, but just in the odd chance, like you're just meeting me, or just meeting me. So I'm Steve Greenberg. I'm an editorial cartoonist, otherwise called a political cartoonist. I've been doing it for about 40 years. I currently live in the Los Angeles area. I have been in the Bay Area on staff at the San Francisco Examiner, the San Francisco Chronicle, the Independent Journal. I was freelancing for a little while for the Sacramento Bee. I was on staff at the morning paper in Seattle, back down to Ventura County, and now I freelance to various papers around Ventura and Los Angeles counties. So this is a little bit of where I've been, so you can see pretty clearly that I can't hold jobs.
Aren't you just multi-talented?
So I mentioned the papers around here. Sacramento Bee, Daily News of Los Angeles is actually the first daily paper I began my career with. Seattle Hope Intelligencer, which doesn't exist except as a website. The Ventura County Star was my last daily paper. Regular Steve Reporter is the alternative weekly paper in Ventura. The cartoon movement is an international forum out of the Netherlands that runs hundreds of cartoonists from around the world. And actually, I was the very first American they invited to participate. So something kind of pleased. The Jewish Journal is a Jewish-specific paper in Los Angeles that runs some work sometimes. Below it, Los Angeles Times Community News is actually my current employer. I am on staff at the small division of Los Angeles Times, laying out newspaper pages and doing graphics and occasional illustrations, but that's separate from my cartooning, which is done for other publications. Below that, I was cartoonist for a trade magazine called Editor and Publisher for some years. Cartoon Stock is a British syndication operation that runs my cartoons, and they sell cartoons to whoever wants to buy them around the world. L.A. Reserve is a well-regarded blog in Los Angeles that I cartoon for. Politicalcartoons.com is another distributor of my work around to whoever wants to buy it around the world. So anyhow, I've been around, so been doing my cartooning for about 40 years now. As I said. So I go back to the Jimmy Carter era. Wow. If anybody, if you guys have any trouble seeing, the wording or whatever, just let me know. Hopefully you can see it.
I was just wondering, I just have a hard time, maybe I just understand. Is it possible just to lower it just a little or not really? Maybe not. Do you have the ability to lower the image slightly? Kind of late part of Jimmy Carter era into the Ronald Reagan era. Oh, that's good.
One of my favorite Reagan cartoons. Star Wars hoax. Into the George Bush the Elder era. To the Bill Clinton era. Relax, Mr. President, you're in good hands. His and Hillary's health care plan. Of course, Bill had his roving eye, but that led into the era of George W. Bush. Well, I different had roving eye. Bush's brain, Saddam Hussein, and everything else. This is the farewell to his administration, and actually the very first cartoon I did for the alternative weekly paper in Ventura, which I have now been freelancing to for over 10 years. So my first issue with this this weekly paper, not only did I do this cartoon as my introduction to being their new cartoonist, but I also had a cover story about the state of editorial cartooning and myself. Again, editorial cartooning, both cartooning are interchangeable terms. So I did a drawing, and they did a story about the state of editorial cartooning, which unfortunately nowadays is worse than it was. Newspapers have been kind of severely impacted over the last 10 or 15 years, and the staff cartoonists used to be, at one time, a generation or so ago, every major newspaper had a staff cartoonist. Now there are a few dozen maybe left. Two guys just got cut from their positions just in the last 2 or 3 weeks. So, I don't know, we're probably down about maybe 40 positions. Less than 40. Anyhow, it's tragic. There are actually more people doing this kind of work. A lot of online cartoonists, except they may not think of themselves or call themselves editorial cartoonists. There are people doing long form, narrative, graphic stories online with, sometimes it'd be multiple pages or panels, but they don't think of themselves with the term of editorial cartoon, but they're really doing that. It's commentary in cartoons. That's how we differentiate ourselves from just illustrations. We're making commentary. Moving on, this is my victory cartoon for Obama winning the 2008 election. So that's actually I incorporated historic photos of all the racism that he is representing overcoming.
Yeah, it's breaking out of the box.
That's great.
Yeah.
And now there's this guy. Look for his other hand.
Oh, that's good. I like the way you do the line.
And as a cartoonist, he's been providing me a lot of material. As a citizen, my reaction was a little different. Make America part of this was at the time of the child separation story, but there's also an untrustworthy ally, a laughingstock, make America brutal again, despised, and engaged in trade wars. And that was when trade wars were just being talked about. Now that will be spun to the next one and be timely. Friends close. The color is kind of washed out because of the light filtering in, so you're not seeing the bright red like the MAGA had in the last cartoon was bright red. The firebox is bright red for you're not quite seeing the colors. Trump has his team who also provided me a good amount of material, so you've got Sessions and the child separation policy. Reading Senators for Sale Monthly. The safeguarder of consumer protection. This is one of my favorite cartoons.
That was great.
chew it, chew it, do it, brew it, do it, undo it, poo-poo it, climate change.
That's really great. I love that one. That is great.
So I've also been dealing with California issues and local issues. That's actually something I'm pretty well known for. Again, I go back to the late 70s.
Jerry.
So Jerry Brown's first go-around, this is about dealing with a medfly infestation in the Central Valley that proved to be kind of a political undoing for him. The George Dismasian era, he did done with a $1 billion deficit that he wanted to inherit. Gray Davis, during the California power crisis, $38 billion shortfall, political deal, car registration fees which started to undo him, driver's licenses for illegal immigrants, and the Gray House, which led to another cartoon-friendly character. There is no place in this government for the greedy men. And then, coming full circle, Saturday Night Fever. Actually, I love cartoon. I work in penning traditionally, and then I scan my work into a computer, and I use Photoshop to finish the cartoon. Sometimes I use a drawing program called Adobe Illustrator in conjunction with Photoshop to do special effects. So I did some special effects with this cartoon, and I was able to get kind of neat colored disco floor based on the Saturday Night Fever movie. This was a lot of fun. This is one of my favorite ones.
That's a lot of, I mean, two different styles mixed together, which is kind of nice, like the pen and ink, and then you've got the colorful tiles on, you know.
Yeah.
Kind of an interesting juxtaposition.
Yeah. I think the advantage of having the ability to use the computer to use Photoshop, it lets me do special effects. You know, early in my career, I would have had a hand draw, you know, all these shapes, and I would not have had colors, so it wouldn't have had the same effect. Anyhow, leaving the Jerry Brown era, Gavin Newsom, the torch has been passed. And of course, fire is a big issue in California.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I was in the Bay Area for 3 years. I worked for a little while for the San Francisco Examiner. This would have been good if I had color back then. But, and this one I did for the Marin Independent Journal back around the year 2001. And it's probably more relevant now than it was then. And I do local material in Southern California. The Ventura paper is my current sort of home paper, so I do local material for them. So this is Ventura County export. Pharmaceuticals, the biotech company, Amgen is based there. Strawberries. They are red, but you can't see them on the screen with the burner. And so the housing ills are not just specific to the Bay Area by any means. I like this one because it sort of animates itself. It's not an animated cartoon, but it almost wants to animate, have motion. And I like to be able to sort of draw things in kind of cartoony way.
Good
the counter on the left, I just started drawing a figure, and he started looking like a good friend of mine in L.A., so I just kept going with it. I made it look quite a bit like him. I know he saw the cartoon, never heard anything, if he recognized himself, or liked it, or disliked it, but no, he's actually used in another cartoon, too, but already established him as my hot guy. So that was sort of like a happy accident. I was drawing a figure, and it looks like Steve. Oh, okay. Nowadays, everything dealing with Trump is so overwhelming. Even California state issues are now Trump issues. It's very hard to get away from it. So, as my colleague Angelo probably knows, we're not short of material in this area. Sometimes it's actually too much Trump stuff. You can't get away from it. If you want to do something about a more localized issue like the high-speed rail project, it still circulates back to dealing with Trump. California fuel standards. The Trump crew is attempts to weaken the gas standards. So, speaking of the environment, that's something that I do. Trump is a match. I grew up in Los Angeles, and I read the Los Angeles Times when I was a teenager, and started to get interested in current events, and that's when I started getting interested in, as a little kid I wanted to be a comic strip cartoonist like Peanuts, and as I got into community college years, I realized I needed to start becoming an aware citizen, and learning what's happening so I could vote. So I was reading the local papers, particularly the Los Angeles Times, where I live, and they had a staff cartoonist named Paul Conrad, who was a 3-time winner of the Pulitzer Prize for cartooning. And he was one of the masters of doing completely wordless, entirely symbolic cartoons. And that's kind of a bit of a holy grail that I go for. It doesn't happen very often, but sometimes I can do an entirely wordless cartoon. There's a few people in our field who are very good at it. There's another, I think he's a 2-time Pulitzer Prize winner named Clay Bennett, who is one of the top people in doing completely wordless cartoons. And the international cartoonists on that cartoon movement forum, there's a lot of completely wordless cartoons. So sometimes you get all the pieces that come together to be able to do something entirely wordless. This has actually been one of my most reprinted environmental cartoons.
That's great.
This is one. The situation in southern Florida is starting to really show the effects of climate change, where like South Miami Beach is getting flooded more and more consistently when there's considerable storms, and it's starting to sink, and the ground is porous in South Florida, and Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort at some point is probably going to get submerged.
Yeah.
This is my newest environmental cartoon from a few weeks ago. This is really suffering from not seeing the color. It's got sort of a bright yellow turning to orange and to red at the bottom, and there's a whole series of silhouettes of animals. At the top, there are earth movers labeled human activity, and you see elephants, the rhino, the whale, kangaroo, and then as it gets harder to see in the light, there's just a whole series of animals falling into a chasm, and there's the word mass extinction in the lower corner. And if you look carefully, there's a chain, a weird chain follower. So when this all goes down, it's going to have an impact on humans. So you can see there's the link, the literal link. I was actually not a vegetarian at the time I drew this several years ago, but nowadays I am vegetarian. So there are many reasons not to eat meat. These are some of them. And this is one of my favorites there. This has been made into tote bags and coffee mugs. And I don't only do environmental cartoons. That was a question before I started my talk. That I both about environmental cartoons. I deal with all kinds of other issues as well. Technology. Who's going to wind up being the master? And then something that happens pretty much every week in this country. This is a cartoon that won a national award about 10 years ago. And other topics. Intolerance from radicalism. A very recent cartoon that I will probably have many more opportunities to draw about. I mentioned I do cartooning with traditional pen and ink, and then I scan into the computer, and then I will sometimes use different programs to finish up the cartoon. Here's a case where I came up with the idea. I was actually sitting at the breakfast table drawing on a napkin with a ballpoint pen as I was reading the paper about the latest state to have an abortion crackdown. And I knew that this would be a little challenging to draw, to put it into the size and shape, so I actually drew it in pieces. So the elephant figure and the trunk figure are drawn separately, the trampoline is drawn separately, all the different components, and then I kind of, I scanned it and I kind of moved pieces around to fit, and I did type in a drawing program and moved it around to make it fit, and I just kind of moved the pieces around until I could fit that rectangular shape. I worked the same proportions each time, so once I had it nailed down, I